and infinite universes. In worldly people, the knowledge of the divine I is an awareness but not yet a knowledge. He sees only the things that exist, but he cannot see for what karmic causes and conditions they have taken birth. See what has been said in regard to former abodes. Furthermore, in Anilutou, the foremost of those who possess the divine I, the material derived from the four great elements of the form realm, they matter constituting his divine I wash only semi-pure. On the other hand, in the Buddha, the divine I, material derived from the four great elements, is completely pure. This is the difference. Furthermore, it is in the concentrations in which he is dwelling that the Sravaka obtains the divine I, and it is in the concentrations in which he is dwelling that he can see. And this is a matter of concentration with investigation and analysis, of concentration without investigation but with analysis, or of concentration with neither investigation or analysis. On the contrary, as soon as he enters into concentration, the Buddha, if he so wishes, is able to see everything. Abiding in concentration without investigation or analysis, he obtains the divine I. Entering into concentration with investigation and analysis, or into concentration without investigation but with analysis, he can see equally. Furthermore, when the Sravaka sees by means of the divine I, and if his mind in concentration enters into another concentration, his divine I disappears. This is not the case in the Buddha. Even if his mind enters into another concentration, his divine I does not disappear. By means of this knowledge, the Buddha knows the places of birth and death of all beings, and since this knowledge is intact and invincible in him, it is called the ninth power. 10. The power of the destruction of the impurities. The power of the knowledge of the destruction of the impurities. Question. There are differences in the degrees of knowledge for the first 9 powers. Namely, of the Sravakas, the Pratyeka Buddhas or the Buddha. But here the destruction of the impurities is the same for all. How is the knowledge of the Buddha different here from that of the Sravaka and the Pratyeka Buddha? Answer. Although the destruction of the impurities is the same in all, the various knowledges which recognize them is very different. In the Sravaka, the very strong fetters to be destroyed by meditation are destroyed at 3 times. 1. The time of arising, 2. The time of duration, and 3. The time of disappearance. This is not the case in the Buddha. It is at the very moment of their arising that they are completely destroyed. In the Sravaka, the fetters to be destroyed by seeing the truths are destroyed at the moment of their arising, but the fetters to be destroyed by meditation are destroyed at 3 times. For the Buddha there is no difference between the fetters to be destroyed by seeing the truths, the fetters to be destroyed by meditation. When the Sravaka enters the noble path of Darsana Marga for the first time, the moment of entry is distinct from the moment of understanding. In the Buddha, it is in a single moment of mind that the entry and the understanding occur. He obtains omniscience, destroys all the obstacles and obtains all the attributes of Buddha in a single moment of mind. The Sravakas have 2 kinds of liberation. 1. Liberation from the passions, and 2. Liberation from the obstacles to the Dharma. The Buddha possesses liberation from all the conflicting emotions and also liberation from all the obstacles to the Dharma. It is by himself that the Buddha attains wisdom. The Sravakas, on the other hand, obtain it by following the teachings of another. Furthermore, some say, when the Buddha cuts off the defilements of all beings by means of his wisdom, his own knowledge is neither dulled nor diminished. Just as a red-hot iron bowl set down on a cotton cloth burns the cotton without its power of combustion being diminished, so the Buddha's wisdom burns all the defilements without the power of his knowledge being thereby diminished. Furthermore, the Sravakas know only if their own impurities are destroyed. The Buddhas know that their own impurities are destroyed and also know if those of others are also destroyed. On this subject see there. Ching. Finally, the Buddha is the only one who knows the modalities inherent in the minds of beings with their 98 perverse tendencies and their 96 errors. No one but the Buddha knows them. The Buddha is also the only one who knows the nature of the fetters destroyed in the course of the Dukkha Dharmajnana, the Dukkha Nva Yajnana, and so on up to the Marg Nva Yajnana. Similarly, he knows the fetters destroyed by meditation in the course of the 9 moments of liberation. The Buddha knows these things about beings fully and completely. The little that the Sravaka knows of them or says about them may be ascribed to the Buddha's teachings. This is the power in the Buddha of the knowledge of destruction of the impurities, and, since this knowledge is intact and invincible in him, it is called the 10th power. Third section, Appendices to the 10 powers. 1. The best of the 10 powers. Question. Which is the best of these 10 powers? Answer. Each is great in its own domain, just as water that moistens and fire that burns each has its own power. 1. Some say that the first is the greatest because it includes all the 10 at once. 2. Others say that the power bearing on the destruction of the impurities is the greatest because it contributes to the attainment of nirvana. 3. Some scholars say that the 10 forces together constitute the root of unhindered liberation and that this unhindered liberation is sovereign. 2. Why the Buddha thinks highly of his 10 powers. Question. The 10 powers are exclusive to the Buddha and, in the course of the present lifetime, none of his disciples is able to obtain them. Then why does the Buddha speak of them? Answer. The Buddha wants to cut off people's doubts about these 10 powers to strengthen the minds of the ignorant and lead the fourfold assembly to rejoice and to say, "Our great teacher is the only one to possess such powers which he does not share with anyone." Furthermore, the heretics say, "The Sramana Gautama dwells always in peace and his wisdom is decreasing." This is why the Buddha makes this statement of truth. In me, the 10 powers and the 4 fearlessnesses are well established and complete. In the Great Assembly, the Buddha speaks of his perfect wisdom, converts beings, utters the lion's ruefully and turns the wheel of Brahma, which no heretic, god or human, can turn. Therefore it is to arrest criticism that the Buddha speaks of his 10 powers. 3. There is no boastfulness in the Buddha. Question. According to a rule of human decency, even the sage cannot boast. How then could a being free of egotism boast of his 10 powers? Indeed, it is said, to boast about oneself, to blame oneself, to boast about another and to blame another, those are 4 things which the sage does not do. Answer. Although free of egotism and attachment, the Buddha possesses innumerable powers and, out of his great compassion to save beings, he speaks of only 10 powers. That is not boasting. Thus, the good caravan leader, seeing robbers deceiving his merchants and inviting them to take the wrong road, is moved by compassion and says to his merchants, "It is I who am truthful. Do not follow these hypocrites." And also, when charlatans are deceiving the sick, the good physician, out of compassion for these sick people, tells them, "I have the good remedy and I am able to cure your illness. Do not believe these impostors. You will become even more sick." Furthermore, the qualities of the Buddha are profound and distant. If the Buddha did not speak about himself, nobody would know him, and the little that he does say is very useful to beings. This is why the Buddha himself speaks about his 10 powers. Furthermore, there are beings to be converted to whom it is necessary to speak, and among the things to say to them, he must, at the proper time, speak of the 10 powers. If one did not speak about them, these people would not be converted. This is why the Buddha himself tells them about them. Thus when the sun and the moon rise, they do not think, "By lighting up the world, we will have glory." The mere fact of their rising is worthy itself of glory. It is the same for the Buddha. He thinks not at all about collecting glory when he speaks about his own qualities. When the Buddha is preaching the Dharma in a pure voice and the brilliance of his rays destroys the shadows of ignorance among beings, he derives great glory from that automatically. Therefore there is nothing wrong in the Buddha himself speaking of his 10 powers and his other qualities. Power can have results. By using the 10 powers, the Buddha increases wisdom. This is why he can confound the scholars. By using the 10 powers, he increases wisdom. This is why he preaches the Dharma. By using the 10 powers, he increases wisdom. This is why he triumphs over his adversaries. By using the 10 powers, he increases wisdom. This is why he attains sovereignty over all the dharmas, just as the great master of a kingdom gets sovereignty over the ministers, the people and the populace. This has been a brief explanation of the 10 powers according to the Sarivaka system. End chapter 39.